The bottle in the parlor. Elders still say that Egbeda did not always breathe with fear. Long before whispers replaced laughter, Egbeda was a village that lived by the rhythm of the land. At dawn, farmers walked barefoot into their fields, humming old songs that begged the soil for kindness. At dusk, hunters returned from the forest with stories, meat and pride hanging from their shoulders. The land listened to them then. The forest answered. At the center of this balance sat the Odonwiri, Pa Ehigie. Pa Ehigie was not a loud man. His strength did not live in his voice, but in his stillness. People said when he spoke, even stubborn spirits leaned closer to listen. He loved his people deeply, too deeply to rule with fear, too wisely to rule with force. He had 2 wives. The first was quiet and plain. The second was Iyori, beautiful, sharp-eyed, and always watching. For a long time, nothing seemed wrong. Then the land began to change. It did not happen in one day. Trouble never announces itself. First, crops that once grew tall began to yellow too early. Yam tubers came out thin, like they had been starved underground. Hunters returned with empty hands, their traps untouched, their paths crossed by strange silences. Even the forest birds stopped singing at certain hours. Fear crept in slowly, like harmattan dust. The villagers gathered in small groups, speaking in half voices. Mothers watched their children sleep with worry folded into their brows. Finally, they did what Egbeda had always done in times of confusion. They went to Pa Ehigie. Odonwiri, they said, kneeling, our land no longer hears us. Pa Ehigie listened. He did not interrupt. He did not deny their pain. That night, he did not sleep. As a spiritual man, he knew the land had not turned on its own. Something was feeding on Egbeda's breath. He began to watch, not the forest, not the farms, but his own home. For some time, Pa Ehigie had noticed a strange habit. On certain nights when the moon hung low and restless, Iyore would pass through his parlor instead of using the door. She moved quickly, like a shadow that knew it was being watched. Each time, Pa Ehigie warned her. This house is not a pathway for darkness, he told her. Iyore only smiled, a smile that did not reach her eyes. Warnings were wasted on her. Deaf ears hear nothing. The truth came to Pa Ehigie the way truth often does, not gently, but fully formed and heavy. Iyore was not just a witch, she was the head of a coven, and Egbeda was their feeding ground. The failing crops, the empty forests, the quiet fear, these were offerings. The evil tormenting the village was sleeping on Pa Ehigie's mat. He called Iyore and begged her. These people are my responsibility, he said. Release them. Iyore laughed softly. Power does not release what it can control, she replied. That night, Iyore rose again to fly. She aimed for the parlor as she always did, but Pa Ehigie was waiting. As her spirit crossed into his space, he spoke words older than the village itself. The air thickened, time slowed. Iyore screamed, not with her mouth, but with her soul, as Pa Ehigie trapped her spirit inside a bottle, sealing it with authority, not anger. Morning came. Iyore did not wake. Her body lay still, untouched by breath. The village gathered, wailing. Women beat their chests, men bowed their heads. But Pa Ehigie stood firm. He said, my wife is not dead, she is held. Silence fell. He explained everything, not with pride, not with shame, with truth. He said, I chose justice, not revenge. That night, Pa Ehigie met Iyore in the spiritual realm. She begged, she threatened, she cried. Finally, she agreed. She and her coven would leave Egbeda untouched forever. The bottle was opened. Iyore lived, and Egbeda breathed again. The rains returned, crops grew fat, hunters smiled once more. But the village never forgot.
Till today, elders warn, evil does not always come from outside the gate. Sometimes it eats from your bowl. And leadership, they say, is knowing when love must stand taller than blood.